All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Oh, I can't even use my paper cutter because it's messed up. I need a new blade. So I need to find a ruler and X-Acto knife. I prefer it to be straight, but I'm just going to try and cut it. I don't really feel like looking for it. I need to find. I need my darn. So man, I need a new blade for my paper cutter. That's okay. I'm going to go ahead and still do this this way. How are you guys doing this afternoon? Not going to be on long. I'm trying to create some content. It's a video that I want to upload to TikTok. So you guys are just going to be along for the ride. I'm mainly recording this on, well, you guys will get to see it, but the focus for me is to record this on my phone so that I could edit it down for a TikTok video. And shorts and reels and all that other kind of good jazz. So let me take my phone to video. All right. Excusez-moi. Okay. All right. We're going to cover. So I'm going to put this here because that is one of the mugs there. I don't feel like moving what's over there when it comes to my supplies and stuff that are here. All right, so trying to put everything where it's within reach for me. Dang it. All right. This is a little different for me, y'all, because I'm used to doing videos a certain way. And when I can't do them that way, it's a little bit off-putting for me. So bear with me. I'm trying to fix my tripod. Like I said, the main focus for me is more so the TikTok video than anything. So I'm just trying to make sure that I am within the camera view of my phone. All right, so as long as I stay on the square, I'm actually pretty good. So all right. This little stupid camera, I got a new anchor for it, but it moves around a lot. So it might move around on you guys. Man, as I come over here, I'm blocking the light. I don't know what's going on with lighting, but I'll fix it on the production room floor. All right, y'all. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. How you guys doing? As you got... Uh-oh, what's going on here? All right, I was like, what the world just happened? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get started so I can record this video. Let me put my phone on Do Not Disturb. It'll be just my luck someone calls and interrupts my video. So let's put this on Do Not Disturb. This is so much better when you do it with a paper trimmer so that it's nice and straight. But like I said, mine is dull, so I'm just going to cut this down with my scissors, which I don't even know why I'm cutting this part down yet because I'm going to cut it down with my X-Acto knife also. This is the part that's most important, where it needs to be straight, because and like perfect, and not where there's any white, because this is the part that goes down on the tumbler. So I cannot have any white showing. I'm not going to worry about the bottom because I'm going to cut it once I put it on the tumbler. So I've already wiped down my tumbler with an alcohol wipe, and I should have done that on camera, but I forgot. So want to make sure that your design is facing the correct way. Ooh, I do need to cut this off because my design extends some, and I need to know exactly where the design portion ends, because parts of it goes all the way, it bleeds off the page. Because this was a design that was set up just for me, not for anyone else. So I know exactly how it is. All right. This particular tumbler is always a pain in my tuchus because it has a weird bump right here. You'd rather get the ones that are completely flat. All right. Oh, what am I doing? So I'm going to take my tape. I hate when it does that. Oh, it's like I feel like I'm always going on straight, but then it turns on me. Foolish thing. It needs to be straight, especially with the way that this design is. And I'm testing out something right now. So I figured it'd be great for me to do the video with this because I'm testing out a certain design technique. All right, so I wanted to roll it, but with this one, I need this to line up pretty much exact, so I can't take any chances. So we're just gonna go like that. Pull that one. I was trying to roll it because y'all see I have on nails. Normally don't wear nails, so all right. This is the wrong size. I need a 3-inch. Because that's a 2-inch. That's the right one. And for you guys watching live, once this goes in the oven, I'll be able to answer questions for about 5 minutes while it's in the oven. This part is really always hard to show on camera because I need it close to my face so that I can see if there are any gaps. So, I mean, I'm not doing anything special. I'm just like literally pulling it and looking at it to see if there's any gaps. I see one. So because I see that one gap, which ready to go, I'm just going to take a piece of tape, put it there so that I can, whoo, and I just messed up my TikTok video. I'm going to have to definitely edit that. Well, I'm going to edit the whole thing down anyway. But I'm going to put this here and pull it to make sure that there's no gap right there. Because you don't want to give the gases anywhere to come out of. All right. The wide tape is available on, oh, they said that's some wide tape. It's available on our website. Whoa. I went down too far. I'm not going to have a lot of overlap, which kind of sucks. So I'm going to have to go around this kind of like twice. Normally, I only do one time. But because we're going to see, I don't have a lot of, I might be okay. And right now, I'm just going around the rim to make sure that it's nice and tight. And I just look for certain areas. So I'm just going to take this little piece here. It looks like there's like a little gap there. And then I'm going to wrap the whole thing with my 6-inch tape. If you thought that one was wide, this one is very, very wide. This one is 6 inches. I purchased an 8-inch myself, and I don't know how I spaced when I ordered our tape, and I only ordered 6. Come on. I only ordered 6 inches, but I used to do these. I didn't have to use the 2 3-inch pieces. I just wrap the whole thing in one 8-inch piece. So So now this is ready for the oven. All right, so I'm going to stop this video on my phone, and I'm going to go put this in the oven. I forgot to turn it on, so I'm going to do it for like 5.5 minutes because I just realized I forgot to turn it on for it to preheat. So it'll preheat while it's subbing. And yeah, I'll be back. Well, I'll be back, but this will be done. I'll go get it in about like 5.5, 6 minutes. All right. Well, I'll go back and get it in 6 minutes, but I'm going to go and put this in the oven. All right, I'm back. I don't want to move my cameras around, so I'm gonna stay here. So you guys, unfortunately, are gonna have to talk to my hands. But if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them for you. I don't have an oven in my office. I take it to the one that's in the kitchen. Yes, I make them in the ones same ones I cook out of, because contrary to popular, opinion, um, and urban myth, Sublimation ink is not toxic. What's on here, the gas from it, this is the gas. So when you put your mouth to this, you're putting your mouth on the gases anyway. So it's not toxic at all. You can put it in there. It's not going to affect anything in what you cook in. But to each their own. If you feel better with having a separate one, you can. For me, the only downside to putting my tumblers in the oven that I cook in is that there's normally food on the bottom. So it's a good thing that I do tape it up, because there's always food on the bottom of the oven. Other than that, there's no downside to it for me, for putting it in the oven that we cook in. And I'm testing a couple of things. So I'm testing a design feature. And I personally have never gone to 350 for tumblers. A lot of my followers have said they've done their tumblers at 350. I've never done it. 365 is normally like for pretty much everything else. Our oven, which is the oyster one, it's the pull down, that's the extra large one it's not the French door, it's the one that pulls down. It goes from 350 to 375. So I normally just do 375. I've never done 350. So I'm testing it at 350. And I'm also testing a design in a certain way that I did this, because I want to see if I can create the illusion of a seamless design. So if you guys have questions for me, feel free to go ahead and ask them. The website, if you guys missed the live video earlier, I ended up redirecting our website to make it easier for you guys to find it and to recommend it. So you can go to our site, www.hsink365.com, and that's where you're going to find our sublimation paper once we're back in stock, Sublimation ink. We have all colors except magenta, so there are no full sets, but we do have black, cyan, and yellow. It's just that breast cancer month, people are buying up that magenta. So we're out of that. Hopefully that shipment will be in pretty soon here. Yeah, so that's that. But hsink365.com is where you can find the sublimation paper, the heat tape, ink, pigment ink, chip resetters, digital files, access to our classes, everything. So now I'm just sitting and waiting. This is the hard part, waiting. I mean, that would be the benefit of having a tumbler press. The wait wouldn't be so long. It's still about like, it's only like 45 seconds and you just have to rotate it to 30 to 45 seconds. So it's, of course it is quicker. It's less of a wait, but that's the only downside, is waiting for it to finish in the oven for 5.5 minutes, because like I said, I didn't preheat the oven. Normally I can do with this particular design, with all these colors, probably would have been like 4 minutes. If it's lighter colors, I can do 3 minutes. But there are some darker colors in there, so you know, like 5.5 minutes, really 5 minutes if I were to heat it up. I did extra 30 seconds so that it could heat up to that point. My oven broke. Do you think I can use a roaster oven? Don't laugh. So technically, oh no, that was even. Technically, you really can use any heat source, right? You can put it in a regular oven. The reason why a convection oven or air fryer is recommended is because the heat circulates in there. So it's going to be really even. Like for me, I don't have to go babysit this. If you put it in a regular oven, think about how your food cooks. It doesn't always, like, it's always a little bit too hot in the back. But with a convection, it's rotating, it's circulating. So it really should ideally be the same temperature in the back that it is in the front, as long as your oven seals. I don't put a thermometer in my oven or anything like that. Like, I've never, ever had to really do that. Well, I did it in the beginning and I just didn't understand why people were doing the oven. Regular bake, I can understand that. So like if you just put it in like a regular oven, it may take a little bit more time. And that one you are going to have to babysit and rotate it, because there's no air circulating like that heat evenly all the way around. So you're going to have some hot spots in your oven. So you're just going to have to constantly rotate it. But you technically can do your tumblers in, or mugs or anything that's going to be heated in any oven. The smaller the oven, it really is the better, because it's going to keep that heat right on top of your substrate. If you happen to put it in a bigger oven, that's more room for that hot air to dissipate in. It's like move around in. So that's probably going to take you a little bit longer in a bigger oven, because there's so much open air. Smaller ovens really are best for sublimation. And I would never laugh, because, hey, if you don't know, you don't know until you ask. And you just might get an answer that makes you feel, you know, not so crazy for asking it. I keep listening for the beep. I'm going to grab my heat glove. I keep listening for the beep. I don't know if we've been on here 5 minutes. I don't really hear it yet. I should have had Google set a timer. Oh, there it is. Now I hear it beeping. No, you technically, well, I can't speak for any other paper. All I know is when I do mine, I don't rotate it. I'm in here talking to y'all. The timer just went off, so I'm going to go get it. I do not babysit. I do not turn it. But if you really think about how a convection oven works, you should not have to turn it, because that heat, that's the whole purpose of the convection part of it. It has a fan in there that's circulating that hot air around. So rotating it and opening it up is just kind of pointless. All right, so let me go get this. All right, let me set my video back up. Okay, so here is why I wanted to do longer tape, because as this was heating up, when I went in there, it was loose like this. But if it was longer, it would actually reach down inside, and it wouldn't come up. So I might have some white cast around here. Not quite sure because it did come up. So I'm going to switch this to the other hand because I just need to hold it. See, I got food on the bottom. How did I get ghosting on here? I knew the bottom. I told you I went too low on this. I should have cut it. This has a weird bump to it. But I think I got... Oh, it was at the bottom. That sucked. But look, it's damn near a seamless to like, you really can't, other than like this part, because of the bottom part, it was really at the bottom because the top has no seam. But I created this design to where the overlap finished off. So what was on this side is here. So it literally, I could have pulled it a little bit more so she lines up. I guess I can see the shadow of Bugs Bunny a little bit. So I have to work on this again, but I'm trying to get it to where once I overlap it, it's a completely seamless design. But you can see like Bugs Bunny kind of doubled. And this part right here is because I didn't cut the bottom. This is a very weird tumbler. It has like a little bump here, and your tumblers really should be completely flat. But other than that, tis nice. And some of the images are going to look different and maybe not so bright because they are a lot of old school images. So some do look brighter than others because of the way the original image is. Like the original image is lighter. And this was printed on plain paper setting, not premium matte, plain paper setting. I'm so mad about this, but that's okay. Other than that, you wouldn't be able to tell. Like if at the top, if I go around this, no one would be able to tell where that seam is because normally your line, it will have a sharp cutoff. But I tried to make it where they overlap. I just had to pull it a little bit more. So I'm going to work on that template a little bit more. But this was my little experiment. And I wanted to share with you guys. And this is what's left on the paper. All right, so TikTok version is done. Any questions for me before I get? I'm so mad about that. I'm gonna end up doing this again anyway because this is the perfect design for me to test. I've done it before. If you watched the one for my dad, it had his name and it was seamless. This one, I'm gonna practice on it one more time and try and get this to where you really can't tell at all. I'd rather this one come over more than it's Bugs Bunny and then her. Because this one looks pretty seamless. Bugs Bunny. The Wuzzle's tail is pretty. And can't really tell. Definitely can't tell from his foot. From John's foot. Other than the white line. But other than that, this is completely seamless. Look at that. So I've done it before. Like I said, I've done it before, but not like this magnitude. I'm trying to perfect it for my tumbler class. Yes, this is sublimation. This is sublimation. You can go back and watch it. I'm leaving the live video up so you're able to go back and watch it. I used your wide tape last night on my tumbler and it came out great. However, I was guessing the temp. Why'd you have to guess the temp? Does your oven not have it, or? Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, so if it's a solid color, hold on, let me show you another one. So, I mean, our paper does not do that kind of like weird extra ghosting or like overlap. So this was one that was just a pattern. So you really can't tell on this one where the seam is. Like, because there's really no extra line. Like, so the seam is actually right there. But with this one, you can barely tell. So then with this one, it's all black. So you can't tell on that one either where the seam is. Other than when you get down to this area, maybe somewhat be able to see it. But for the most part, you can't tell where that seam is. Yes. Well, actually, no. This was printed from my 2720. But I have an Epson 7720 for sublimation, but this one was printed from my 2720. It's on the cover sheet. It's on the cover sheet. You can go in. I did this one at 350. Anywhere from 350 to 375 works. You never have to go to 400 degrees with our paper for anything. So I wanted to test it at 350 because others have done it at 350. I had just never done it at 350. I always just do 375 because that was the next one up because I'm so used to using 365. But this just shows that it does work at 350 degrees. And I did not preheat it. And it was in there for 5.5 minutes. I did not preheat it at all. I put it in there, turned it on, and came in here and talked to you guys. When I print sub with it before my prints came up, that's because your other colors are blocked. So if you watch, it's a couple different things that can cause that. You have your vent plugs in the wrong spot. If you have the cartridges that require priming, they're not primed, or you just have air in your print head, and you should watch my video on how to push air through your vent holes to clear that out. So it's an easy fix with the 7720. Yes, if you're using our paper, take 400 degrees out of your mind. Never, ever, 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 ever. Did I say ever? Never, ever, ever, ever will you use 400 degrees with Honestly Speaking sublimation paper. Okay? So take that out of your mind. Hold on. Let's see. Okay, that's the old cover sheet. I'm trying to find a new cover sheet. This is an old cover sheet. I think all the paper I have in here is like the older packs. I don't know if I have any of the newer packs with the new cover sheet on it. Because I did adjust sometimes because I based the times. Like, I didn't go off of other people's times. Like, I tested these. And then with my heat press, I was able to do certain times, but that's not the average for like most heat presses that aren't a Hottronics one. So I end up having to change the time on the newer versions. Okay, wait, you know what I'll do? I'll go to the website and share screen. And I'll show you the updated. All right. Let's go home. Oh, wait. Might help if I go over here. So here is the updated one. So aluminum stainless steel in an oven, 350 to 375, 4 to 6 minutes. All of that is right here on. And this is actually, I mean, it's supposed to be firm pressure, not medium, but that's okay. You are on my page, honestly speaking. The page that you are, the channel that you're on is where you will find it. But I will, so just type in honestly speaking, push air, and that you'll find the video. I've done it both ways. It actually does not matter. It really, really does not. So if you're using a convection oven, it does not matter. I have done it both ways. Yes, your video saved me yesterday. Thanks so much on pushing air through the vent plugs. People want to say that eco tanks are easier, but if something goes wrong with an eco tank, especially the ones where you cannot access the little mini cartridges inside and the tubes, they're very hard to get back working. Workforces are the easiest to maintain. Don't let anyone tell you differently. They are the easiest to maintain. My tumblers are, hold on. My tumblers are coming out light. What could it be? I am not sure because I don't know what settings you're using as far as print. I don't know what paper you're using. I don't know what temps and times you're using. I don't know the method that you're using to wrap your tumblers. There's so many different variables that can affect it. Okay, so you follow my settings for the Mac. So you're using plain paper, bright white. What are you doing as far as oven? Are you using a tumbler press? Are you putting it in the oven? What temp, what time, what method are you using? Are you using, some people wrap in a bunch of masking tape or painter's tape. Some people use shrink wrap, all that kind of good jazz. What method are you using? Technically, no, you don't have to preheat when you're using our paper. I've actually found that out a couple times now that you don't have to whatever time I would normally put it at, I just do an extra 30 seconds so that it can heat up. Well, for the heating up part, but no, you technically don't have to preheat. I answered that already, love. It does not matter. It doesn't matter. I've done it both ways. This time my rack actually happened to be out of the oven already, so I stood it up. If I would have walked in there and the rack was in the oven, I would have laid it down. It does not matter. Yeah, I don't use the blue tape at all. I've never done that method. So I'm not sure as to why it would be like what, I use a different method. If you join my Facebook group, honestly speaking, 365 Sublimation, post your tumbler so I can see what you mean as far as it being light. Now, the other thing it could be is it's a bad substrate. Sometimes it's not you. You have to buy stuff from other places. If you're just getting your tumblers from one place and you're not separating them to know which vendor they came from, you're doing yourself a disservice. Order tumblers from a couple of different places. If something goes wrong, pick out a tumbler from a different stash, test that same design and see if it comes out the same way. That's how I had to figure out what was wrong with these. I did a video and they all were coming out all jacked up. And then I had to realize that the coating on it did not cure. So I ended up putting it back in the oven, very low temperature, like 10 minutes or so that coating can cure. And now I don't have these. Y'all remember when I did that one test and I was having all those issues? This is a tumbler from that same batch because it has that, remember I talked about that weird bump right here? So sometimes it's just figuring out your supplies, because not all tumblers are created equal. 375 conventional oven. Conventional means that there's no air. So if you're using it on the conventional setting, that means that's a regular oven. If you don't have the air circulating, 4 minutes is definitely not enough time. When you're doing that, and you need to rotate, so you're gonna have to let it sit for a little bit longer if you're using a conventional oven setting, because that means no air is circulating. So you need to turn it to the convection so that the air can circulate, or you can leave it for a little bit longer and rotate it. Thank you. All right, so yeah, post your picture in there so I can kind of see. But if it was, I mean, you can have the Oyster one. Oyster has a convection. So if you're not using the turbo setting, you're not using the convection setting. You're doing it as a regular conventional oven, and you need to adjust your time. And my next thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to set a timer. So I'm going to do 3 tumblers. I'm going to do it my method. I'm going to do it with the tape all the way around. And I'm going to do it with shrink wrap and test as far as time, how long it takes to wrap it and do all of that stuff, as well as just results. So that video will be not later today, probably later in the week. Because I got to get this. I want to get this to where it's completely seamless. I'm so mad about down here. I forgot to cut it down. If you're not using Honestly Speaking paper, I cannot advise you on the settings for someone else's paper. I can only tell you what I use. So this was done at 350 degrees for 5 minutes, 5.5 minutes. I did not rotate it. I did not preheat. I did not rotate it. This was done with our sublimation paper, Honestly Speaking sublimation paper. So I cannot say like for others exactly what the heat and time would be, but this was in the Oyster one, 350 degrees, 5.5 minutes, no preheat. I did not rotate it. Yep. If you want to order the paper, hsink365.com. hsink365.com. Anyone else have any questions for me before I jump off of here? Last call for questions. My time says 44, pretty much on the dot. If no new questions are posted by the time it gets to 45 minutes, we will go ahead and end this live, and I shall talk to you guys later. And if you take my sublimation seminar, I teach you how to do this. Ready? Look, it's the same. Now this, you have to adjust it. So I did have to adjust for the design to fit on here compared to how it was on here. I had to move things around because of course they're 2 totally different things. But look, that's seamless as well. And this is what normally happens. Like if you look here, the gnome is cut off. So I was trying to work on the template where I don't get a harsh cut off like that. And then like his foot is cut off and you see the green. So I didn't want it to do that. And that's why I was working on with this design. These will look different. The coating for a stainless steel tumbler and the coating for a ceramic mug are different. Your images will appear brighter on a sublimation mug than they ever will on a sublimation tumbler. I did answer your question, love. What other question do you have? Because I answered all of your questions. For the mug, yes, you can only get a seamless mug using the oven. You can only get this using an oven. Oh, that one, when you say no preheat, I didn't turn the oven on before I put the tumbler in there. I didn't, when I walked in there, the oven was completely cold. So I turned it on, set it to the temperature, and left the tumbler in there, walked out, came back to talk to you guys. So most people will preheat, meaning they'll turn their oven on ahead of time and have it, heating up. So if you're just doing one, with our paper, I can't speak for anyone else's. I just went there, turned it on as I went to the kitchen, put it in there, and let it sub for 5.5 minutes. I didn't have to turn it on beforehand. Alrighty, guys, I am out of here. Thank you guys so very much for joining me today. Until next time, guys, have a great one. Continue to oh wait, almost forgot. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already. Share this video out. You can share from YouTube and share to Facebook. You can share it to your own YouTube. Save it to your playlist. Subscribe. Give this video a thumbs up. Hit the bell. Turn notifications to all so that you don't miss any of my uploads. All right. So thank you guys so very much. Until next time, have a great one. Continue to unlock your creativity and be incredible. Peace.